welcome back to NPStation. This is part 20 in the Coding for Kids in Python video series. So I have a very exciting announcement for you all. This is actually going to be the last fun activities video in this coding series. Can you believe it? We have almost come to the end of this series and the book Coding for Kids in Python, written by Miss Adrienne Take. Now, in my previous video in this series, we learned about reusable coding and how we can make coding fun and easy. Now, in today's video, we are going to be doing the fun activities of chapter 7. And trust me, you will want to stay tuned to the end of this video because the fun activities we'll be doing are very cool and interesting. Now, the next video in this series will be the last in this coding series. It will be part 21 and I'll be doing a recap on this entire coding series and what we have learned. So stay tuned on NPStation for that video as well. But also keep watching this video and I'll see you later in Google Collab. Of things we know. See, I've opened our Chapter 7 Fun Activities notebook in Google Collab. The link to this notebook is down below, so please do click on that link to come into this notebook and we can do these activities together. So, the first activity is called, first let me just show you guys all the activities we have from Chapter 7. There are so many that you guys will be able to do on your own, and we'll be doing some together. There are 7 total fun activities, and they're all super fun and very interesting, so please do try them out. Try all of them out on your own. So we're going to be doing some of them together, and let's get to it. So the first one is activity number 1, super function. So here's what to do. We need to create a function called superpower and have your superpower function accept 2 parameters. So one of the parameters is called name and the other is called superpower. Now, using these parameters, have your function print out an f string that says who they are and what their superpower is. And here is the sample expected output. Hi, I'm Super Neha and my superpower is coding. So of course, you guys will be able to change your name and change your superpower. So let's get to the coding. Go ahead and click on the add code block. And as you can see, it has added a code block right after activity number 1, which is where we are going to start coding to get the sample expected output. So first, we need to create our function called superpower. To do that, write def superpower. And in parentheses, we need to now make that function accept 2 parameters, name and power. To do that is very easy. Just put in your 2 parameters name, which is name and power. And don't forget to close that parentheses and add a colon. Now click enter. So here, we're going to write our f string. So write print f and then open your double quotes. And here's where we're going to write our sample expected output. So we're going to write hi, comma, I'm super, and then what we're going to do here is open your curly brackets and you're going to write your first parameter, which is called name, and continue on your sentence. And my superpower is, again open the curly brackets and write your second parameter name, which is power. Don't forget to put that last punctuation mark and close your double quotes and your parentheses. Now, once we run this, we are not going to get, an output because we're still not done yet. We need to call the superpower function. So go ahead and click backspace. So we're back at that first, indentation as where we defined or created our superpower function. Here we're going to write superpower, which is our function name, and in the parentheses we need to define our parameters. So for me, it is going to be Neha as the name parameter, and the second one is going to be coding because I want my superpower to be coding. So go ahead and fill in these 2 parameters as well that fit your requirements. So you would put your name here and your superpower. Now let's go ahead and run this code and let's see what we get. So here, as you can see, We have, hi, I'm Super Neha, and my superpower is coding. So great job, everyone. We have successfully completed the first activity. So let's move on. How about we go ahead and do activity number 2, which is called funny functions. So here's what to do. Create a function called funny underscore greeting, and have your funny greeting function accept 2 parameters, one called color and another called dessert. Now, using these parameters, have your function print out an f string that mixes up the parameters on purpose to produce a silly message. So here is a sample expected output. My favorite dessert is red because it tastes so good, and my favorite color is blueberry pie because it is very pretty. So as you can see, it has mixed up the parameters on purpose and has created a very silly message. So go ahead again and click on that add code block. And let's get started. So this second activity kind of has the same steps as the first one because we are creating a function and putting 2 parameters in there. But here, our function is going to be called funny underscore greeting. Oops, let me spell that correctly. And what we're going to do is open our parentheses and put in your 2 parameters, which is color and dessert. Close the parentheses and add a colon. And click enter. Here's where we're going to write our f string. So print f and then open your double quotes. And here, let's write our sample expected output. My favorite dessert is, and open your curly brackets. Remember, we're mixing up the parameters, so write the color parameter in the curly brackets. And then continue on with your sentence. Because it tastes so good. And my favorite color is, open your curly brackets again and write your dessert parameter. And again, continue your sentence because it is very pretty. So there we go. Make sure to close the double quotes and the parentheses. So we're still not done yet. We need to call the funny greeting function and define our 2 parameters. So funny greeting, again, let me spell that correctly. So funny greeting, and then in parentheses, we need to put in our 2 parameters. So for me, my favorite color is blue. So I'm going to write blue in there, the first set of double quotes. In the second set, I'm going to write my favorite dessert, which it has to be ice cream, definitely. Close the double quotes and the parentheses. And now we are ready to run our code. Click on that run button and here we get the sample expected output, which is my favorite dessert is blue because it tastes so good, and my favorite color is ice cream because it is very pretty. So as you can see, it has mixed up the parameters and has created an awesome, very silly message. So you guys can go to all of your family members. You can ask them to fill in these parameters that fit, what their favorite color is and what their favorite dessert is, and you can show them the silly message. So how about we do one last activity? How about we just do the next one, which is activity 3. It is called What Time Is It Over There? This, you guys, you need to stay tuned to the end because this is a very interesting and fun activity. So let's get to it. So there are a lot of directions here, so I'm just going to go ahead and read them out. When you have friends around the world, it can get a little tricky to keep track of the right times to call them. Depending on where they are, they could be hours ahead of or behind the time in your location. Now to help, let's write a function that helps us figure out what time it is in our friends' cities. So here's what to do. Using the datetime and time delta functions from the datetime module and some math, write a function that prints out the current time in your home city and the following 3 cities. As you see, I have provided 3 cities here that we're going to be trying and finding out what time it is over there. First one, Berlin, Germany. The next one, Baguio City in the Philippines. And finally, Tokyo, Japan. And here's my home, Maryland, United States. So first, be sure to import the following functions so you can use them. We're going to import these 2, which is datetime and time delta. Next, we need to create a function called world times, and I'm pretty sure that you guys already know how to do this because we did it in the previous two activities. So I've already started the function for you, so all we have to do is fill in the blanks to calculate the other cities' times, and then we're going to print them out in the final string. So as you see, I've provided all this code here that we're going to be writing, and but there are some spots where we need to figure out what code we're going to write. So, but don't worry, we will be able to figure this out because we're going to be working together. Now, next, we need to calculate the other cities' times. You'll probably have to, need to add some hours to the my city variable. So you can add hours to a variable by using the time delta function. Now the time delta function gives us a very easy way to properly add units of times like date, months, hours, minutes, etc. to a date or time. Now in this activity, we're only going to need to add hours. So you would do this by adding a date time object to a specific amount of hours. So as an example, if you wanted to add 9 hours to the current time and then assign this result to a variable called 9 hours from now, you would do the following. And this is very important. So 9 hours from now, that is our variable name, and we're gonna subtract, date time dot now, and then we're gonna add time delta, and then in parentheses hours equal 9. So I also provided two helpful hints. One of them is we are definitely going to be, you can use the internet, to find the time differences between your home city and the 3 cities mentioned. So once you figure out those numbers, use them in your function's calculations. The next hint is don't change the f string I've provided. The resulting times you calculate should print out to a nice readable format if you use this exact f string. So here is the sample expected output we are going to receive. So it is going to say world_times, and it's going to provide the time in all of the cities. So it's going to say first your home city. It is 1:37 in Maryland, and then it's going to have another sentence saying the time for all the other 3. That means it is 4:37 in Berlin, 10:37 in Baguio City, and 11:37 in Tokyo. So yeah. That was a lot of talking. How about we get to coding? So actually, we're not going to be using Google Colab for this activity. We're going to go ahead and use idle shell. Okay, so and we're going to open idle shell. As you can see, I've opened a new notebook in the shell, so make sure to do the same. And now let's get started. So first, what we need to do is import those two functions. So here's what we're going to type. From datetime, import datetime. And the next one is we're going to import from datetime import time delta, which is our another function. So we've imported the two and we are able to use them now. So we're going to first create our function called world times, as you can see right here. So you guys should, be able to do this by now because we've created functions in just the previous two activities. So it is called def world times. So it's going to be world_times, open parentheses, and your colon. And now let's go ahead and start writing this code to calculate the other 3 cities' times. So first is my_city. And equals date time dot now, empty parentheses. And next we're going to write Berlin equals, and let's see, what code do we need to write here? So listen up and follow along with me. So first we're going to write equals, and this is kind of going to be a little equation. So my_city, and we're going to put in that plus symbol. So plus time delta, and then in parentheses, you are going to write, let me put a space there. You're going to write hours equals 9 and close the parentheses. So basically, what we're saying here is that it's going to add 9 hours to our city's time. And once you add 9 hours to my city's time, it is going to get you to Berlin's time. So click enter, and we're going to do the same thing for the other two. cities, go ahead and copy and paste this part so we can be more efficient in our code. So it's going to say my underscore city plus time delta equals 9, but instead of the 9, we are going to write 15, because if I add 15 to my city, it is 15 hours to my city, it is going to get Baguio City's time. And finally, we are going to put in Tokyo, put in that, we're going to paste that code, and instead of the 9, we're going to put 16. So awesome job. We have put in the 3 lines of code to calculate Berlin, Baguio, and Tokyo City. So now what we're going to do is put in another function called all times, and it's going to put an equal, F, and 3 single quotes. So now your code color should be green. And this is what, now we're going to write what we want in our sample expected output. So it's going to say, it is, and then open your curly brackets and write my underscore city, put in a colon, a percent symbol, we're going to write percent I, another colon, and percent or uppercase M. Oops, I put in a plus symbol. We're going to put my underscore city, colon, percent uppercase I, percent or colon, percent uppercase M. And make sure to close those curly brackets and continue on in your sentence. So in my city. So great job. We have completed the first sentence. Now we need to do the other 3. So continue on in your sentence. That means it's, and here, go ahead and copy that flower bracket section we had written and paste it here. But instead of my underscore city, we're going to write Berlin, because that is our first city. And then after that, we're going to continue on in our sentence and say in Berlin. Go ahead and add a comma and paste another one of those flower bracket sections here. And here what we're going to say is, instead of my city, we're going to say Baguio. Keep the rest the same and say in Baguio City. And another one of those flower bracket sections, and here we're going to write Tokyo. And we're going to continue on in our sentence and write in Tokyo. Don't forget to close those 3 single quotes and finally click enter. So here what we're going to do is I'm going to come back down here. So I'm going to go to the end of the sentence. It's kind of hard to do this. Click enter, and here what we're going to do is come back to that same indentation as the other previous lines of code, and we're going to write our print function, and it is going to print out the all times function. Click enter and click backspace, and here what we're going to do is write our function world underscore times empty parentheses. So here what we're doing is we're calling the world times function. Alright, great job everyone. We have written all the code. Now let's save this file. Make sure to save it in the correct folder. I'm just going to go ahead and call it time and save that. So once you have saved it, then go ahead, you can click F5 as a keyboard shortcut to run your file, or click on run module. And there we go guys, here's our sample expected output. It is 2:16 in my city, and yes, it is 2:16 in Maryland right now. So that means it's 11:16 in Berlin, 5:16 in Baguio City, and 6:16 in Tokyo. Great job, everyone. this was definitely very fun. I hope you guys had enjoyed this as well, because I definitely did. So if you calculated one of your friends' cities, go ahead and call them right now and tell them that you found out what time it was in their city using Python. Trust me, they're gonna be pretty surprised, and you can teach them how to do it as well. So I hope you enjoyed doing these activities. I definitely did, and please feel free to do the rest of these activities. They're very fun. One of my favorites is the cupcake cookie. I had a lot of fun doing that as well. And also, if you have any questions from these activities, please feel free to ask me. Give me your questions either in any of my social media channels: Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn as well. So yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know and I'll be happy to hear back from you. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Keep reading, keep coding.